Hey guys, Ben Paints here. Today we are back once again for another video. However, this time we are venturing to the great outdoors of Mansell Raceway. Now this is somewhere that I have wanted to try out for a long time, and today I decided to try it in the pouring rain. Now you can see straight away that the track was very damp, very difficult for me to get hold of straight away, especially as I have very minimal experience to outdoor karting. So I tried to use my brain a bit and take some more unconventional lines, more of a wet line compared to what you usually would, but it was one that I really did struggle with quite a bit, as you will see later in the video. But before we get into it fully, and I'm about to absolutely dive bomb this person into the hairpin, I would just like to say, if you are new here, could you please hit the like button on the video if you do enjoy it, and if you are new here, could you please hit the subscribe button down below as well. The channel has been growing so much recently, and I really do appreciate every single one of you. We've had so much support over my BIKC journey, and I only hope that it can carry on into the winter months and later on into next year, as I have a lot more outdoor events that I plan to do going into next year, as well as continuing to try out team sport. But here straight away we can see we come across the line, and I was being very tentative. This was the first session. I did do two 15-minute sessions, so to begin with I was very tentative. I was quite confused what lines to take. You can see pretty much stopping on that corner to try and get the kart turned in, and there was really very minimal amounts of grip, especially as the rental karts do use slick tyres on a wet ground. You can see that nice little water droplet covering the whole left hand side of the screen. I do apologise for any water droplets that do go across the lens throughout the whole footage, as there's going to be quite a lot. You can see there was a lot of rain and it was very cold and damp on this day. But here just trying to find where the grip was on the track. Obviously coming out straight away, I just wasn't really knowing what to expect, to be honest. I was hoping for a patch of a dry day really, but we've come out and obviously akin to the UK weather is absolutely soaking. So we come across the line now, first lap of 59.232, so not a very good lap. I wasn't entirely sure what kind of a benchmark would have been a good lap, because I haven't seen many people drive here in the wet on an arrive and drive session. Obviously there was two 15-minute sessions and they were sort of back to back, which was quite good, but just trying to get as much practice as I can ready for next year when I go outdoors, just preparing myself for all conditions, especially trying it in the winter season almost. So here just trying to take a wide line. As I said, obviously my only other outdoor experience has been up at Wigan, where it was dry. It was really dry, really nice conditions, and I then competed at the Herefordshire Raceway, which was damp, but it was on no level as wet as it was here. So we come across the line here on a second lap of 56.681, so a decent amount of time shaved off from our first lap, gaining confidence lap by lap, which you will see. So every lap seemed to get quicker and quicker, but here once again just trying to stick as far to the right as I possibly could, just to try and get some decent traction to the corner. You can see how much I'm turning the wheel, and the wheel just wasn't turning. You can see Harley there on the right. I did come along with Harley, and a good mate of mine, I will leave a link to his channel down below. I think his car actually stalled in the puddle going into that corner, so we left him there and carried on along our way down one of the main straights here, swinging into the hairpin once again on the right. And here I found I did have quite a lot of grip through that corner, so I was able to take more of a racing line. But then coming into this section here, the chicane, no matter what line I took throughout the day, be it wide, be it narrow, be it slow, be it fast, going through the middle, I just couldn't get a good exit coming down the start finish straight. So again coming across the line now 56.824, so not as quick as our second lap, but obviously a little bit confused as to why Harley was stopped in the middle of the track. So I did go a little bit slower there just to make sure I didn't collide with him, even though he was so far away. I didn't really trust myself in these unpredictable conditions. So here just trying a different line and just seeing how much the kart bogs down. So clearly that one didn't work too well. Again I was able to go almost flat out through this right hander, but the back of the kart was slipping out, so I did have to regulate the throttle a little bit. And you'll see throughout the video as well, I do lift my head up quite a bit as I go down the straights, and that was just to try and get some air into my helmet. My helmet was really misting up quite a lot, and it was making it quite difficult to see, if I'm in all honesty. But here once again through the chicane, as I mentioned, just really not finding a good line through there, so quite slow. And we come across through, trying to clip the apex there to come across the start finish straight. So you can see once again a 55.919, so the lap times are coming down. Trying to go a little bit faster into the right hairpin here and going a little bit wayward and trying to maximise my exit, trying to use as much as the track as I possibly can. Again, going into the middle of the track here, trying to take a bit of a normal racing line, but you can see there just turning to the right and the car just wasn't turning. So I think I learnt from here on out just to take a bit of a wider line so that I could get a bit of a better exit, and they're regulating the throttle quite well. I don't know what I was looking around at over here at this point, just checking the marshals out, seeing what they're doing, checking if they're having a nice day, taking a wide line into the right hairpin here once again, trying to maximise the exit, keep the wheel as straight as I possibly can, trying to open the steering out. Again here, just really not getting a decent run through the chicane, really having to slow down to ensure I didn't clip the barrier coming out of the exit. We do come across the line here down the start finish straight with a 34.893, which was in fact my fastest lap of the first session. So we are going to jump ahead here into the second session. So here we set out once again for our second 15-minute session. I would have put in the rest of the first session, but it was just me driving around, if I'm honest. So again here, just checking out my wet equipment, checking out my hands. My equipment was very damp at this point. There was a lot of rain, and the weather did seem to get a lot worse in the second session compared to the first one, so the track felt a lot wetter, but I did have a lot more confidence compared to the first session, which I was really happy with. I was able to put in some quicker time. So here, coming out, just trying to have a look around, just trying to make sure I have a nice bit of space. I did know that Harley was coming out behind me, so, and I noticed that he was a second quicker than me in the first session. I think he got a 53-second lap, so I knew he had a bit more pace than me. So here I was just trying to get some decent exits, and here almost going into the barrier on the right, just not getting grip through that corner at all, and we come across the start finish straight to start our first official lap here. So as I said, Harley was behind me. I was determined to try and sort of break away from him if I can. You can see just hitting the brakes a little bit too much there, and the back of the cart did slide out quite a bit, trying to maximise the exit once again, trying to get to the edge of the circuit to carry the momentum through, and then taking a bit of a wide line once again. So I did learn from the first session just to try and take a wide line. You can see the cart wasn't bogging down. I was actually able to get a better exit coming through that first sort of corner into that complex, and coming out of the second corner I had a little bit of a sideways moment, but we did manage to be alright there, checking over our shoulder to see where Harley was, and then we took a wide line once again just to try and get a good entrance and exit into the hairpin here at the back end of the track, and going wide again to try and take a little bit of a wet line. But the cart, you can see how much my arms are turning to the left, but the cart just didn't want to turn, so I was quite fearful if I kept my foot in that the cart would have just gone straight into that barrier on the right. And we do actually come across the line with exactly the same lap time as our fastest lap in the first session, which I was very happy with, just taking off where we left off in the first session. So again, just checking over my shoulder, I think Harley was right on my tail at this point. He caught up to me quite a bit, so I took a bit of a wide line once again, trying to take the wet line. And here on the inside, you do see Harley darting down the inside. I tried to make a switch back on him, and again I tried to take a bit of a wide line, but unfortunately he does cover it off quite well, so I did stick behind him here, and he takes a little bow there and darts off into the distance, and that's sort of all we saw for him for the rest of the session. He did shoot off quite quickly, so I was trying to take a few of his lines through here. I was taking a bit more of a wide line just to see if I get a good exit, and I was trying to see what sort of lines he was taking through this corner, and you could see straight away how much time I was losing to him coming through the chicane section. He's literally gained about 5 to 10 working days on me through that corner, and we come across the line of 55.649. I was having a little bit of a battle with Harley in the first complex section, but coming through once again I was determined to stay on his tail and try and keep up with him, even though he had made a little bit of a gap going through that chicane section, and I wanted to try and whittle this time down and try and catch up to him once again. So you could see he was taking a few different lines to me, and I did try and stamp on the brakes a little bit more there into that corner just to try and get the rotation in the car, but it did actually just bog the car down, so I didn't actually get a good exit at all. And you can see Harley there is pretty much a speck in the distance now already after one lap, which did give me a little bit of a downer on my mood, but it was all learning experience, and almost going into the barrier there on the left hand side, and again just trying to follow sort of the lines that have been made on the track, but again you could just see drifting a little bit too wide there, and it was just compromising my exit coming down the start finish straight. And at this point Harley's gained a whole universe apart, so just trying to catch up to him at 55.010 there once again, and trying to take a little bit of a different line once again into the hairpin here on the right, trying to just stick to the outside just to try and find a little bit of the line that wasn't rubbered so I could try and get a bit more grip. And again, just taking a nice wide line, a line that I did actually find a bit more success with through here, just trying to tuck as much to the left as I could before swinging the car into the right through the right hand corner here through the complex, as this speck of rain has covered up the whole screen. But we do come down the start finish straight, or not start finish straight, sorry, the back straight here, and we swing the car in again, just trying to take some different lines, just to try and see what works, and regulating the throttle a lot better as I was getting a bit more confident through each of the laps. You can see there the Marshall there on the right just tucking the barrier, and I think I did actually clip the back of the barrier as I come through, so just giving him a little bit more work to do out of respect. And we come across the line there, my fastest lap so far, 54.173, so a lap I was very happy with. And you see Harley up the head there actually did do a little bit of a spin there, so I thought, right, this is my chance to sort of catch up to him. Did have a little bit of a giggle as we went side by side through this corner. I do manage to take another wide line here coming through, and I just tried to get back on the throttle, but Harley managed to find a lot of grip on the inside there, and he actually manages to get ahead of me once again. So I just wasn't able to find as much grip as him, unfortunately, so once again behind him, and at this point I really wanted to stick behind him and not let him dart off into the distance as much as I did at the beginning of this session. So again, taking a line that I found worked quite well for me and gaining a little bit of time through there, but then this corner once again I just could not get the rotation in the car to get through the corner in the correct way, and again just clipping the barrier there, coming out and obviously losing quite a bit of time and momentum down the start finish straight. We do come across the line there again, 54.595, so a little bit slower than our previous lap, but still on decent pace for myself. Obviously an improvement from the beginning, where our first lap was a 59-second lap, so we've already shaved 5 seconds off of our lap times from the beginning of the day, so I was quite happy with this. Going over the curb a little bit there, and unsettles the car quite a bit, having to oversteer quite a lot there, and you can see again another driver that just sort of stalled in the middle of the complex section, which I was quite confused with because I didn't experience this myself, but I think there was a big puddle that some of the other guys were driving through, and it was actually just sort of stalling the engine and causing them to sort of break down in the middle of that corner, which I was a bit confused about. But again, just trying to take a bit of a wide line and trying to maximise this corner once again, but I just couldn't get it right. Again, a little bit more momentum through the corner this time, but again just not getting as good an exit as Harley. You can see once again he's just a speck in the distance, but we do come across the line here of 53.684, so our fastest lap so far, a lap I was quite happy with, and I was determined to improve on this as the session went on. But here once again just trying to maximise the exit on the corner here and just trying to swing to the right. As I said, a lot of success by going wider here and then swinging the car through the corner, but just not getting a lot of grip there, and the car almost stopping in the corner, which I just really was struggling with. I couldn't get it right for some reason throughout the whole day, and it was something that I was getting a little bit annoyed about with myself, so especially as I saw Harley was getting a lot more success through those corners compared to me. But again, taking a wide line into the right hairpin here, just trying to get the power regulated once again, and then swinging it into my favourite corner on the left. You see a driver there on the left hand side, I don't know how he managed that. He was actually gone through the grass, so I don't know how he managed to get the rotation in to get that much of a turn onto the grass. But we do come across the line here once again at 53.653, so sorry, not a 65, a 53.653, getting way ahead of myself there. I'm not that slow, I promise. But we do come across our fastest lap so far once again, so I was improving gradually. I was finding a little bit more grip as the session went on. I was finding some better lines. Again, just sticking to the right hand side here and getting a good bit of momentum through here, going on the curb a little bit, causing the car to be a little bit unsettled, but I did set myself for a really good run coming down the back straight here. I've really had a nice flat out, I managed to regulate the throttle quite well. There wasn't a lot of wheel spin on the back tyres, which meant that I was able to get a nice clean exit, and again through the right hairpin here, just getting a really nice clean exit once again, and then coming into the left hand corner here, I did go a little bit too wide there and clip the barrier on the right hand side, and again just not getting a good exit through that corner, so compromising my exit down the start finish straight. But this was in fact my fastest lap of the day, a 52.411 second lap, which I was very happy with. Now we are going to jump ahead once again because some of the other laps are me just driving around, but I did want to showcase this next lap because I did just want to prove that everyone is human, everyone does make mistakes, and we do come down the start finish straight here, coming to the right and just twitch on the right hand side of the steering wheel a little bit too much, and around we go, and you can see my foot is in the floor at this point. We just cannot get going I was struggling to get moving. It felt like I was in quicksand at this point, but just a little bit too much brake application and a little bit too aggressive on the steering wheel did result in me having a little bit of a spin. But again, we do jump ahead here another lap in the future, our last lap of 53.041, and we come into this lap here just trying to improve on our 52-second lap. We haven't actually managed to be close to that again since, so really trying to demist my visor at this point, lifting my head up a lot. You can't even see the kart below me, and then I don't know if the camera the angle sort of jumped back where I was leaning my head back very aggressively, but again trying to get a good exit into this corner here, just getting a little bit of oversteer there, compromise my exit. We can see what a gap Harley's made on me. He's not even on my screen anymore, he's disappeared. But we do come down here through the right hand hairpin again, taking a wide line, getting a good exit out of here and sticking to the right hand side here and trying to follow the racing lines that were on the track that had been made from the other drivers, but I just couldn't stick to them. No matter what I did, the kart was just slipping around all over the place, and we do come across the start finish line here under the yellow flags, which meant this was the last lap, and it did result in a 53.957 second lap, which was not as good as my fastest lap, a second and a half off, but that was the last lap of the session. So this really was a session I did enjoy. It was a really good experience in the rain, gave me a lot of practice for when I am going outdoors in the future, but it was one that I really did enjoy. A lot of practice to have, a lot more that I can learn, but I really did enjoy it. I had a good time out, even though the weather really wasn't up to scratch on the day. But we do come around here. I would like to say this is the end of the video, so I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have watched this far, I do appreciate every single one of you. If you have enjoyed the video, could you please hit the like button and subscribe for more in the future. As I said, we have got a lot more videos coming in the future. I did go to Eastleigh earlier this week, so if you do want to see that footage later on in the week, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. It really was one that I enjoyed, and experiencing the electric cars for the first time was something that I really did enjoy. As always, my Instagram is linked down below, so if you do want to follow me down there and see what I'm getting up to over winter, feel free to follow me or just check out the page. There has also been a Team Sport Discord that's been created. It's been lovely chatting to a few of you guys, so I'll link that down below as well if you want to check that out. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.